Warning, your lone wolf personality is actually a trauma cage. It's 3 a.m. The kitchen light is the only thing on. Your phone is face down, do not disturb, 12 unread messages. A sticky note says, I work better alone. The coffee's cold. Your shoulders ache. You tell yourself this is discipline. It's not. It's a cage that looks like competence. I study this through a trauma-forward lens. Not pop psych, not blame. We're mapping what your nervous system learned and why it won't let go. Here's the path. Part 1, the origin. Part 2, how it's maintained. Part 3, the cost. Part 4, the extraction kit. One detail from childhood will explain everything. Origin of the cage. Attachment meets alarm. To understand why your body picks solitude, we need to go back to the first lessons you learned about closeness. As a kid, you reached out 1,000 times. The small bids, the half questions, the can you watch me moments. When care was reliable enough, your system paired closeness with safety. But when care was inconsistent, preoccupied, or frightening, the math changed. Your body started tracking patterns. Reach, miss, heat, shame. Proximity needs met with uncertainty equals threat learning. So you tried again, like all kids do. You upped the signal, protested louder, clung, performed. When bids still failed, or were punished, your brain did something brilliant. It rewrote the strategy. Stop needing, stop asking, stop repeating bids. If reaching sets off alarms, then not reaching must be safer. Hyper-competence wasn't a personality. It was a protest that hardened into withdrawal. The nervous system prefers certainty, even if the certainty is lonely. It's a clean calculation. Autonomy equals control, and control reduces risk. Closeness introduces variables, timing, mood, memory, another person's capacity you can't command. Your body did the math and sided with predictability. It found relief in self-containment, routines, and a tight grip on outcomes. It wasn't about pride. It was about not going through that sinking drop again. Now add parentification. Maybe a parent was ill, numbed by substances, drowning in work, or carrying their own history. You stepped up. You scanned the room, predicted storms, softened edges. You became useful, and usefulness paid. You're so mature, hit your dopamine system like a small medal. Competence as currency formed fast. If I keep the plates spinning, we survive. If I excel, I belong. If I manage you, I don't have to need you. That bargain felt noble. It also taught your body to ignore its own signals. Hunger could wait. Tears could wait. Sleep could wait. The praise for self-sufficiency created a reinforcement loop. You overfunctioned, got validated, and your brain sealed it with dopamine. This is the competence trap. It works until it works you into exhaustion and isolation. Micro-stories show how ordinary it looked. You were the quiet helper, the kid who knew where the forms were, who memorized everyone's schedules. Teachers loved you. You didn't need reminders. You didn't need anything. In group projects, you took the hardest part and finished it alone because explaining felt riskier than doing. When your stomach tightened before asking for help, you called it nerves. When your chest ached after a missed birthday pickup, you called it bad luck. Your body was learning to preempt disappointment. Meanwhile, bids kept failing in small daily ways. A caregiver said, later, and later didn't come. A promise bent to fatigue. A meltdown elsewhere in the house swallowed your need. You learned timing like a craft. Ask when they're fed, when the show ends, when the door closes. Still, enough misses stacked up that a rule set in. Needing equals danger. The protest turned inward. Silence became strategy. Layer in the social camouflage. Adults called you independent, humble, easy. No drama. You weren't low maintenance, you were under asking. But that language soothed the system. Independent sounded like an identity you chose, not a position you were forced into. Compliments lacquered over the ache, and the world kept rewarding the role. More top grades, more late nights, more, we can always count on you. The loop tightened. There's also the body piece, already taking shape. When bids are unreliable, the amygdala tags closeness as risk. Your system starts to brace around proximity, even if the person in front of you is safe. Early on, that bracing might look like a held breath before you speak, a tiny flinch away from eye contact, a reflexive. It's okay, I got it. Your interoceptive signals, hunger, fatigue, the need to cry, get turned down so you can keep performing the caretaker job. If you don't notice the need, you don't have to risk the bid. A small scene, 3rd grade, the classroom is loud. Your heart beats fast because your project board is bent. You want help taping it. You glance at the teacher, she's swamped. You pivot, borrow tape without asking, fix it cleanly, and swallow the wish that someone would notice. Your brain logs the win. Solve it alone, feel immediate relief, avoid the sting. Another scene. Middle school, your parent is late again. The office staff offers to call. You say, "No, I'm fine," and text a neighbor instead. You make it home. Another solitary win. Another chip into the same groove. By high school, the groove is a road. You're the perfect student. Organized, nimble, unfazed. Friends trust you with their chaos. You listen, give advice, then go home and don't tell anyone when you're overwhelmed. The system overlearns safety and now polices connection. It scans for potential disappointment, flags it red, and reroutes you to familiar solitude. Here's the hard truth that's also generous. Your "I don't need anyone" wasn't delusion. It was protection that worked. It got you here. The problem isn't that it formed. The problem is it never got an off switch. The child who had to becomes the adult who can't stop. And the body, faithful to what it learned, still fires alarms at the exact moment you consider leaning. What nobody told you is that protection and loneliness can feel identical at first. Your system can't tell the difference yet. That comes later. For now, we've found the hinge. Unreliable care taught your body to treat closeness as a risk and competence as a shield. From there, everything else unfolds. The adaptive genius, how lone wolf keeps you alive. Here's where the strategy earns its keep. Chaos outside, coherence inside. When everything feels unpredictable, you create rules you can trust. Wake at the same time. Stack tasks in a sequence. Keep your desk arranged just so. Routines become scaffolding. They turn a storm into a checklist. Control isn't about perfection. It's about lowering the noise enough so your system can breathe. Solo problem solving gives quick relief. No negotiating deadlines with someone else's mood. No waiting on a reply. You see a problem, you handle it, and your body rewards you with a drop in tension. That's a powerful loop. Act alone, feel the relief, remember the safety. It's not ego, it's efficient pain avoidance. You learned that moving fast by yourself beats moving slow with a maybe. Conflict avoidance rides shotgun. When you do it yourself, there's no fight about how to do it. No mismatch in standards. No disappointing someone or being disappointed. Your nervous system notes the absence of friction and tags it as good strategy. Each skipped argument feels like a win, and those add up. Over time, peace equals privacy. You didn't start out antisocial. You got efficient at staying out of crossfire. And the world keeps clapping. You're so independent, they say, like it's a moral virtue. You're humble, low maintenance, easy. Those words polish the armor. They tell you the cage is actually a crown. You carry more than your share and get praised for the load bearing. Maturity medals keep coming, so your brain keeps caching them, strengthening the pattern. Praise turns into proof that this is who you are. There's cognitive economy too. Collaborating costs energy. Coordinating calendars, aligning expectations, managing misunderstandings. Every ask risks a no. Every no risks that old shame heat. Lone Wolf streamlines all that. You cut the social overhead and the disappointment tax. You skip the bid entirely, and therefore you skip the potential sting. The savings feel real because they are, until the bill shows up elsewhere. Underneath it is a central story. Solitude equals safety. Intimacy equals exposure. Your body didn't invent that. It learned it the hard way. So it keeps you on the right side of the equation by policing connection. You start to notice the micro-alarms. A text pings and your chest tightens. Someone offers help and you feel heat behind the eyes. A friend lingers on a vulnerable topic and your mind sprints for a joke, a task, a topic shift. The guardrails aren't theoretical, they're somatic. Meanwhile, the strategy helps you win. You climb quickly because you don't stall on coordination. You're the one people trust with last-minute problems because you deliver without drama. Reliability becomes identity. You don't just do the thing, you become the person who can always be counted on. That status buys you room, respect, sometimes even affection. It's not fake, it's hard-won. Here's a human moment. Your boss emails at 8 p.m. in a panic. You're already in sweats, about to shut down. You feel the familiar squeeze. If you say no, you'll feel exposed. If you say yes, you'll feel safe. You say yes, crush the task, and the reply comes back. Lifesaver. Your shoulders drop. The relief is unmistakable. It's not just about approval. It's about avoiding the cold spike of not being needed. Another loop closes. The camouflage works socially too. People like the version of you that doesn't ask for much. Low-demand friends are easy to keep. Partners appreciate your competence, at least at first. Your independence reads as confidence. Your emotional self-containment reads as stability. You've built a brand, unfazed, unbothered, unneedy. It's magnetic in a world drowning in need. There are softer wins. You learn to self-soothe fast. A walk, a playlist that resets your breath, late-night kitchen rituals that feel like prayer. You stack micro-anchors into a private sanctuary. Nobody else has to show up for those to work. Your system trusts what you can do alone because it's been betrayed less often. And yet, the genius carries a trade-off you can't feel right away. When solitude becomes the default safety, intimacy has to earn its way past security. Your body sets higher thresholds, more consistency, more proof, more time. That sounds wise, and sometimes it is. But often it's the nervous system overcorrecting, raising bars so high that nobody clears them. You call it standards. Your body calls it survival. It's tempting to punish yourself here. Don't. This is an adaptation, not a character flaw. Your brain didn't mess up. It overlearned what kept you alive. It built elegant shortcuts. Control for calm, silence for safety, work for worth. Those shortcuts protected the child and powered the adult. The problem isn't the intelligence of the system. It's that the calibration never updated. So, the lone wolf isn't broken. It's brilliant at one job, keeping pain predictable. The cost stays invisible for a while because the wins are loud and measurable. Promotions, clean apartments, smooth logistics. What nobody sees are the micro-choices your body makes to avoid reliance. Those choices kept you safe. Now they keep you separate. And the same genius that built your private sanctuary is quietly guarding it from the warmth you're wired to want. The invisible contract. Rules you didn't know you signed. There's a rule book you never agreed to, but you live by it anyway. It formed in those early misses and got notarized by praise. It says, don't need, don't ask, don't repeat bids. If you can carry it, carry it. If you can fix it, fix it. If you have to speak, make it brief, polished, and easy to refuse. Self-contain or pay the price. Your body enforces these clauses like they keep you alive, because they did. Another clause equates success with belonging. You learn that when you perform, you get proximity. When you excel, people smile, doors open, tension eases. Emotions? They're liabilities, messy, time-consuming, easy to misread. Vulnerability? That's a debt. If you share softness, you'll owe explanations, reassurance, maybe patience you don't have. So you preempt the bill by not opening the tab. It sounds calculated. It's really relief-seeking. There's a reciprocity hack built into the contract. Give more to avoid being owed. If you're always the one paying, carrying, driving, proofreading, no one can call in a chip you can't cover. You stay ahead of the ledger, so you never have to depend. It looks generous. Underneath, it's evasive. You're not just avoiding being a burden, you're avoiding being bound. Hyper-competence becomes your permission to exist. You believe you earn your keep by absorbing the load. Burnout quietly becomes your identity anchor. Tired means worthy, stretched means safe. If you're exhausted, you can't be accused of laziness. If you're overbooked, nobody can ask for more. The fatigue becomes a shield. Nobody argues with a person who's clearly doing too much. The competence trap has a neurochemical signature. External validation hits dopamine. Each, you're amazing, stamps the circuit, and your brain tightens the loop. Overgiving becomes a way to avoid feeling owed. It also keeps the validation drip running. You keep moving because stillness reveals hunger, and hunger would mean risking a bid. The contract rewards motion and punishes pause. Boundaries show up as walls, not doors. You call them standards, and some are. But the thickness is about safety, not discernment. You require clean language, timely responses, crisply defined plans. When someone wobbles, you don't flex, you close. It's not cruelty, it's a reflex against chaos. A door can open both ways, a wall can't. You choose walls because they never ask you to lean. Micro-clauses get written into daily life. Don't send the update, they don't need to know. Don't share the draft, wait until it's finished. Don't ask for a ride, find a workaround. Don't say you're lonely, say you're busy. Each choice looks small. Together, they're governance. You manage your exposure like a careful CFO manages risk. Here's a scene that shows how subtle it is. A friend texts, "Can I help with anything for Saturday?" You're hosting. Your first impulse is no. You've already built a plan. But beneath that is the contract. If you accept help, you open yourself to their timing, their quality, their possible miss. You reply, "All good, thank you," and feel a thin band of relief. You didn't just dodge inconvenience. You dodged dependence. Work reinforces the rules with promotions and praise. You're the one who never drops the ball, who anticipates needs, who's low maintenance. You take pride in never escalating problems, only delivering solutions. The brand cements the contract. As long as you're the person who doesn't need, you're the person who belongs. If you change the rule, you risk the role. Relationships mirror this, often without anyone noticing. You pick partners who admire your self-sufficiency and don't push for more than you can give. When closeness edges in, your nervous system runs enforcement. You change the subject, introduce logistics, schedule intimacy into a tight window you control. If they protest, the contract has a clause for that too. Distance until the heat dies down, then return with competence. Fix something, pay for dinner, solve a problem. Repair through function, not feeling. The contract also includes a fairness myth. Asking is unfair unless you can guarantee you won't inconvenience them. Since you can't guarantee that, you don't ask. Instead, you perfect. You over-prepare. You work twice as hard to remove variables. It seems principled. It's actually fear wearing ethics as a suit. And when someone breaks your unspoken rules, shows up late, forgets, mishandles your ask, the penalties are swift. You revise their access without announcing it. You move them from inner circle to outer, from possibility to predictability. No confrontation, just quiet downgrades. Your body calls it balance. It's really enforcement. The contract punishes uncertainty. All of this can feel like moral clarity. It's not. It's trauma logic disguised as standards. Standards are flexible when trust grows. Contracts like these don't flex. They protect you from chaos, yes. They also keep you from warmth. The tragic part is you won't feel the loss immediately, because the contract's relief is real and fast. Contracts need enforcers. Yours isn't a voice in your head, it's your nervous system. Threat detection bias, blunted interoception, autonomic patterns. These aren't metaphors. They're the cops on the beat, writing tickets the second you consider leaning. What happens in your body makes the rules feel like truth. And that's where we go next. The neurobiology, bodies that won't let you lean. While that contract runs in your head, enforcement happens in your body. Start with threat detection. Your amygdala acts like a salient scanner, flagging what matters for survival. If early bids met inconsistency or heat, your amygdala learned a shortcut. Proximity equals risk. So when someone moves closer, physically or emotionally, it tags that closeness as potentially dangerous. Not because the person is bad, but because your prediction map says, this is where the drop happens. You feel it as a quickened pulse, a held breath, a micro-flinch in your shoulders. That's not personality. That's a smoke detector catching the shape of old fire. Then there's interoception, the sense of your internal states. In hyper-independent bodies, it gets blunted. Signals like hunger, fatigue, tight throat, heavy chest, the pre-cry burn. Those turn down until they break through as crisis. It's a protective edit. If noticing need leads to bids, and bids lead to misses, the system makes a deal. Stop noticing. You forget to eat until you're shaky. You don't realize you're sad until you snap. You push through sleep until your body pulls the emergency brake. This is somatic disconnect, not a lack of willpower. Your body's quietly saying, don't feel the cue, don't risk the reach. Look at the autonomic shape, how your nervous system shifts gears. When dependence is invited, asking for help, pausing to be held, your system may lock sympathetic. Alert, fast, tight, ready to bolt. Or it may drop into dorsal collapse. Heavy, numb, a shutdown that feels like apathy. Both are protection. One prepares to outrun exposure. The other lowers metabolism to ride it out. Neither is about choice in the moment. These are learned reflexes, wired by repetition. Here's the part that messes with your head, the oxytocin paradox. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. In safe contexts, it helps quiet the amygdala and opens you to connection. But if your body associates closeness with letdown or volatility, proximity cues can spike salience before soothing kicks in. Translation: the same signals that should help you settle, soft eyes, slow voice, a hand on your back, can initially raise alarm. Not because you're broken, but because your system learned, this is where I get hurt. The alarm fires early and fast. If you assume alarm means danger, you'll bolt. If you know alarm can be a misfire, you can stay long enough for the soothing to catch up. Memory and prediction tighten this loop. Your hippocampus helps store context, the kitchen light at night, the sound of keys, the pause before a no. Over time, Your system doesn't wait for the miss, it pre-fires disappointment. You're halfway to an ask and already feel the drop. So you pivot to it. Alone, and your body pays you with relief. That relief becomes evidence. See, good call. Neural pathways thicken around whatever works fastest. Solo wins are fast. Connection wins are slower at first. The fast path keeps winning. A micro-story from the body's point of view. You draft a text. Could you swing by after work? Your thumbs hover. Heat rises in your neck. Your breath goes shallow. That's the amygdala tagging risk. Interoception dimming the plea. Sympathetic arousal prepping you to delete. You delete. Your shoulders loosen. Dopamine drops a tiny reward. The circuit nods. Safety restored. Next time, your body will start the delete earlier. Parallel action. Social cues load the system. Eye contact sustains felt connection. If connection is risky, your gaze slides away. Prosody, the musicality in voices, can soothe. If soothing is unfamiliar, you'll feel awkward, then irritated, then productive. Touch should co-regulate. If touch was inconsistent, even a friendly shoulder squeeze can feel like a tripwire. You'll step back before you notice you moved. This isn't just about discomfort, it shapes behavior. When your interoception's blunted, you miss the early cues to rest, to eat, to ask. You only register need when it's urgent, which confirms your rule that needs are emergencies, not everyday realities. When your amygdala overtags closeness, you reach for cognitive control, plans, precision, performance, to lower salience. It works. It also keeps connection peripheral. The brain does economy. Fewer negotiations mean less uncertainty, which means less amygdala load. So your prefrontal cortex partners with avoidance. It builds elegant arguments for why asking is inefficient, why timing's bad, why people are busy. Those are not lies. They're partial truths doing threat reduction. The cost is you never get the reps that would let oxytocin do its job and recalibrate the alarm. Here's where it gets hopeful and hard. These systems are plastic. They change with gentle, repeated, safe exposures. But early on, safety won't feel safe. Safety will feel wrong. You'll interpret wrong as danger unless you label it as unfamiliar. If you can name the oxytocin paradox when it hits, this is the alarm before the soothe. You can buy yourself 10 extra seconds. In those 10 seconds, you might breathe slower, uncurl your shoulders, keep the text draft alive. Small, precise acts signal to your body. We're testing a new map. In the aftermath of any microlean, you need metabolizing time. Let the soothing catch up. Warm drink, soft gaze, a walk, a check-in with yourself. What's the sensation now? If you rush back to control, you won't register the delayed ease, and the old map wins. If you wait, the amygdala learns a new association. Sometimes, bids lead to comfort. That's not an idea. It's a body memory, rebuilt drip by drip. This wiring explains the daily micro-choices that keep you alone. It also points straight to the exit. Change the body's predictions, and the contract loses its enforcer. We'll get there. First, you have to see what you're fighting isn't stubbornness. It's a nervous system doing its job too. Micro-behaviors that cement the cage. While all that wiring hums in the background, the cage is built in tiny choices that look reasonable. You don't wake up and decide to be alone. You schedule connection out of your life by accident. You stack productivity into every open slot where closeness might go. A free evening gets filled with inbox zero. A weekend morning becomes errands plus a podcast. You're not avoiding people. You tell yourself you're optimizing. But optimization has a bias. It favors what gives fast relief. People are slow relief. Tasks are quick. Updates are the first to go. They don't need to know, you think, and you keep minor struggles off the shared channel. You finish the draft, don't mention the migraine. You reschedule the plan, don't say you're fried. Silence buys you control of the narrative and spares you the possibility of a lukewarm response. The amygdala likes that math. It whispers, keep it tight, keep it quiet, you'll be safer. Help refusal scripts roll off your tongue without effort. I got it. Don't worry about it. It's easier if I do it. Each line prevents an ask, which prevents an outcome you can't steer. The relief that follows is subtle but real. Shoulders ease, breath deepens. Your body pays you for preserving autonomy. That reward cements the phrase. Next time, you'll say it faster. Selective disclosure keeps your image bulletproof. You share polished reports, not the messy drafts of yourself. You'll tell the story once it resolves, not while it's unfolding. People see competence, they don't see cost. That's not deception. It's strategy. If vulnerability has felt like debt, You're avoiding a balance you can't guarantee you can pay. Blunted interoception plays out in the mundane. You skip lunch because you forgot. Then you answer emails at 4 p.m. with shaky hands. You push a workout through a headache because your body's early red flags read like static. You don't realize you're lonely until you're scrolling at midnight with a heavy ribcage and no words for it. Missing early cues makes dependence feel unnecessary until it's suddenly urgent. Exit ramps are everywhere. Ghosting is the cleanest one. No confrontation, just fade. When that feels too sharp, you over-explain until the other person lets you off the hook. Humor detours are safer still. Make them laugh and steer away from the tender thing. Intellectualization is the executive version. Turn feeling into analysis, switch to frameworks, cite a book, propose a plan. The content shifts, the function is the same, reduce exposure. A quick human moment, a friend asks, "How are you really?" You feel the warmth and the spike. Your eyes flick to the clock. You say, "Long day, but I'm good. Hey, did you see that article about?" They nod, you both move on, and the tension dissolves. That split-second pivot isn't random. It's your nervous system pulling the fire alarm, and you following the exit sign you know best. You also micromanage timing. You text when you think they'll be least burdened. You call only with a script. You schedule intimacy into narrow windows you can end on time. Coffee, not dinner. Walk, not weekend. If they expand the window, want to hang longer? You feel the clutch and invent a reason to keep it tight. Predictability over presence every time. At work, you design around dependence. You volunteer for the solo tasks, keep cross-team projects bite-sized, and build redundancies so you never have to wait. Delegation feels like risk because it lowers control. So you retain ownership, then wear the exhaustion like proof you were right. People praise the output. Nobody sees the invisible cost. 0 reps in trusting handoffs. With partners, the micro-choices are quiet. You change the subject when they ask about fear. You pivot to logistics, bills, travel, plans, when emotion stretches. You offer solutions when they want witness. When they reach for you, your impulse is to do, not be. Doing keeps you safe from needing. Being risks it. Phone settings tell a story. Do not disturb is a boundary, sure. It's also a habit that prevents surprise bids from reaching you. Read receipts stay off. Notifications get batched. The less often your body gets pinged by another person's need or availability, the fewer chances your alarm has to fire. Your tech stack doubles as a nervous system buffer. You ration novelty. New groups, new rituals, new routines all demand co-regulation you haven't trained. So you default to familiar loops. The same 3 friends, the same routes, the same post-work decompression. Novelty isn't bad. It's just metabolically expensive. Your system spends where payoff is guaranteed. Even self-care can participate in avoidance. Solo rituals that restore you become the only rituals you trust. A bath helps. A walk helps. But when every fix is solitary, your body never learns that co-regulation can be safe. You feel better and more alone at the same time, and the paradox gets mislabeled as preference. None of these moves are dramatic. That's why they're powerful. They convert a living, changing world of people into a well-managed portfolio of low-risk choices. They lower volatility. They also lower warmth. The bill doesn't present as a crisis. It accrues as distance. By the time you notice, you call it fate. It wasn't fate. It was 1,000 small, smart choices that kept you from the very reps that could have softened the alarm. The cost ledger, what hyper-independence steals. While those micro-choices feel smart, the bill posts in places you don't always track. Start with loneliness that doesn't have language. You say you like space, quiet, autonomy. Some of that's true, but there's a chronic ache underneath, an ambient heaviness you manage, not name. It shows up as late night scrolling with a hollow center, as a Sunday that feels too long, as a room that stays tidy because no one touches anything. You call it preference because preference is cleaner than grief. The body calls it hunger. It doesn't yell, it leaks. Health pays next. Sleep drifts because your system won't hand the night shift to anyone, not even yourself. You stay mildly activated past midnight. Mind scanning for missed variables, body humming with effort. Inflammation loves that state. Headaches, gut flare-ups, tight traps, a jaw that wakes sore because vigilance clenched it. Stress hormones cycle predictably. Up when you carry alone, down only after a solo win. It works until it starts to cost. You tweak accessories, magnesium, blue light glasses, while skipping the experiment that would shift the baseline, share the load. The labs don't show lonely. so you keep optimizing. Your body keeps paying. Then the love life paradox. You want chemistry, and you can get it. Spark with people who respect your space, who admire your steadiness. You're drawn to partners who won't demand more than you can safely give. Avoidant meets avoidant and calls it compatibility. The highs are clean, shared jokes, seamless weekends. But when closeness asks to deepen, your nervous systems trade enforcement. You each keep your needs quiet, then resent the absence of guessing. Fights are rare because bids are rare. Connection plateaus at functional. And you wonder why it feels flat. Or you flip. You pair with someone hungry for closeness, and the cycle reverses. They reach, you tense. You do more logistics to prove care. They ask for more feeling, and the distance grows. You don't implode. You drift. Career has a hidden ceiling. Hyper-competence gets you promoted fast into roles where output used to be the currency, and now trust is. Delegation isn't just a task allocation, it's a relationship. You need to hand off ambiguity and hold people through it. But your guardrails hate ambiguity, so you keep absorbing. You stay the hero long after you should be the conductor. You prevent disasters, but you don't build capacity in others. Teams stall under you because you're faster than the process of teaching. Your brand, give it to them, they'll fix it, becomes both flattery and trap. Leadership without trust looks like exhaustion in nicer clothes. Spiritual language can become a bypass. You talk sovereignty, autonomy, full responsibility. Those are real values. They also let you cloak attachment fear in philosophy. You call dependence enmeshment, call repair drama, call need codependency. And curate a life where the only sacred thing is self-sufficiency. Communities that reward stoicism echo this back. Hustle culture, certain wellness corners, even some therapy subcultures that mistake withdrawal for boundaries. The stories get crisp. The heart gets thin. There's a creativity tax, too. Collaboration multiplies perspective. When you keep drafts private until perfect, you miss generative mess. Input lands only after the piece is rigid, so edits feel like threat, not play. You avoid the play, and the work tightens. It's good. It's not alive. Over time, your taste outpaces your risk tolerance. You stay in formats you can control. Your portfolio grows. Your voice doesn't. Friendships pay in quiet ways. You become the advisor, the helper, the stable one at the edge. People come to you in crisis, then go home to be held by someone else. You don't build the awkward, ordinary, repeated time that turns friendly into intimate. You're known for reliability, not for being known. When you need a ride from the airport, you book a car. When you need to cry, you clean. Your contacts are plentiful. Your circle is thin. Money even gets weird. Independence pushes you to control all variables, so you hoard buffers, savings, emergency funds, backups for backups. Financial prudence is wise. But if you can't spend without guilt unless it increases control, the budget becomes another wall. You invest in tools, not in time with people. You think you're optimizing assets. You're starving connection. The identity cost is the sneakiest. I'm the one who doesn't need sounds like certainty. It's actually a shrinking. You decline parts of yourself that only grow in co-regulation. Softer humor, collaborative silliness, the specific safety that lets you be clumsy and still loved. You avoid arenas where you're not the best, which means you stop being a beginner. Being a beginner requires leaning. Leaning pings the alarm. So you stay expert in narrow lanes and call that excellence. It is excellence. It's also confinement. Here's a small ledger entry that lands with a thud, joy fatigue. You can execute fun like a project. Tickets bought, route planned, reviews read. But the spontaneous lift that comes from shared risk stays rare. Without shared risk, Oxytocin doesn't get many honest reps. You don't get the deep exhale that follows, "we did that together." Wins taste bright and then fade quickly. You chase the next task to refill what only connection sustains. If the price is this high, why does the system persist? Because the relief is immediate and the cost is delayed. Because your body believes it's keeping you alive. And because every environment that pays you in praise to keep carrying helps foot the bill. Until you realize you're the one paying with your life you meant to live with others. The protection racket. Why you can't just choose connection. If it were just a mindset, you'd flip the switch and be done. But when you move toward connection, the body throws a flag. Prediction error hits first. Your system expects aloneness. It's calibrated around solo wins. So when kindness shows up, an offer to help, a gentle check-in, it feels off. Not unsafe in the facts, just wrong in the bones. Wrong gets mislabeled as danger. You back away and call it intuition. It wasn't intuition. It was unfamiliarity screaming louder than reality. Identity steps in next. If competence equals safety, who are you without the grind? Saying yes to support can feel like erasing the one version of yourself that's consistently paid the bills. Literal and emotional. You've spent years being the person who doesn't drop the ball. Letting someone else carry a corner of the load threatens that story. The conflict isn't about dishes or calendars. It's about existence. If I'm not indispensable, am I still wanted? That's not a thought you enjoy hearing. So you drown it out with another task. Then there's grief, and it doesn't knock politely. The moment you allow a small need to surface, it drags its cousins into the room. Missed birthdays, empty kitchens, promises that never landed. You've kept those sealed for a reason. Choosing connection risks opening the archive. Of course you keep the lid on. You're not weak. You're avoiding a flood with no life raft. That flood is survivable, but it feels like drowning before it feels like relief. Social mirrors complicate it further. You might live inside cultures that reward stoicism and punish reliance. Teams that celebrate all-nighters, families that equate need with drama, communities that chant sovereignty while quietly isolating anyone who asks for care. When your environment throws a parade for self-sufficiency, your nervous system takes notes. Even if you want to change, the room bribes you to stay the same. And your picker is trained. Confirmation hunting is real. Without meaning to, you'll choose people who can't reliably meet you. They'll be charming, independent, allergic to depth, or they'll be hungry in ways that make your guard clamp harder. Each mismatch reaffirms the old rule. See, connection disappoints. It's not that you can't find good fits. It's that your filter favors familiar patterns over healthy ones. Familiar feels true. True isn't always helpful. There's also the time delay problem. Solo wins pay immediately. Co-regulation often pays later. Early reps of asking feel clumsy. You might get a delayed text, a misattuned response, an earnest but awkward hug. Your amygdala judges fast and files the evidence against leaning. It ignores that nervous systems learn on repetition. It wants proof now. You don't get proof now. You get practice now. That's terrible sales copy to a body addicted to instant calm. Power dynamics sneak in too. If you've protected yourself by staying indispensable, dependence threatens leverage. If you give someone the power to steady you, you give them the power to wobble you. That's not paranoia. It's math you learned young. So you say, I like to handle my own stuff. And you're not lying. You like control because control kept you safe. Relinquishing some of it isn't a mindset trick. It's a physiological exposure. Even language fights you. You've filed need under weakness and boundaries under withdrawal. So every softening reads like collapse, and every ask sounds like a burden, even in your own head. You're running a dictionary that was authored during chaos. It never got revised. When someone says, let me be there, your translation engine spits out, debt incoming. You decline, not because you don't want closeness, but because you don't want the invoice. Here's a micro scene that shows the racket in action. You're carrying 4 grocery bags after a long day. A neighbor spots you and says, want a hand? Your chest tightens. Prediction error. Help offered, not requested. Identity ping. Capable people juggle. Grief flash. Nobody used to show up. Social mirror. Don't be a bother. Pick a bias. If I say yes and they drop something, I'll be mad at myself. Time delay. Faster if I do it. Power math. Now they can judge what's in my bags. Translation engine. Accepting equals owing. You smile and say, I'm good. Your shoulders burn. Your nervous system purrs. The protection racket wins. This is why just choose connection fails. You're not defiant. You're wired. The protection racket promises certainty. No bids, no misses, no grief, no debt. It also charges a quiet tax, no warmth. You keep paying the tax because the invoice arrives slowly and the relief arrives fast. So we don't debate the cage. We build the exit. Not by arguing with your alarm, but by retraining it. We'll use graduated exposure to dependence. Microbids that feel wrong at first and then ordinary. We'll expect the Oxytocin Paradox and name it when it hits. We'll protect identity by reframing competence as distributing load, not swallowing it. We'll pick better mirrors and practice rupture and repair, so risk has a landing pad. You don't force connection. You earn safety through reps. The extraction kit. A4 protocol, regard, repattern, rely, repair. We're not talking about a personality makeover. We're retraining a nervous system that learned to survive alone. The 4R protocol is a field manual. Regard, repattern, rely, repair. It's graduated exposure to dependence, done in tiny, precise reps, with safety stacked on both ends. Expect the Oxytocin Paradox to flare early. Expect your alarm to beat your soothe. That's not failure, that's the first lap. A 1 is regard. You start by seeing the contract without shame. Write the rules you live by. Don't ask twice, finish before you share, carry it alone. Next to each rule, note the feared penalty. Rejection, chaos, debt, loss of respect. Then map your body's tells around closeness. Where does heat rise? Where does air thin? Where do you brace? That's your somatic baseline. Twice a day, do a 1-minute check. Jaw, breath, chest, belly, hands. Note activation when you contemplate a small ask. This isn't insight theater, it's data collection. Stack safety around every experiment. Before a bid, anchor. Slow your exhale, orient to the room. Run a brief cold to warm transition. Cold water on wrists, then wrap in a sweater. After a bid, metabolize. Sip something warm, look at a stable point. Narrate what happened in neutral language. And update your dictionary. Rename burden as bid, weak as wired, awkward as unfamiliar. Language won't fix physiology, but it stops you from moralizing a reflex. A 2 is repattern. This is where graduated exposure begins. Use microbids, 10-second asks that are low stakes and high frequency. Can you forward me that file? Would you grab an extra fork? Could you text me when you get home? The sequence matters. Ask, wait, receive, metabolize. Don't rush the wait, that's the exposure. When the oxytocin paradox hits, when warmth feels wrong, label it out loud if you can. This is the alarm before the soothe. Stay 10 seconds longer than you want to. Then anchor. Co-regulation reps train your body to settle with people. 2 minutes, side by side, match breathing. 30 seconds of soft eye contact, then gaze away. Speak in a slower cadence on purpose. You're pairing proximity with downshifts, teaching the amygdala that closeness can precede calm. At work and home, run the 5% handoff rule. Choose one task you own and delegate just 5% of it. First draft, early research, a tiny logistics slice. Resist quality over control by defining, done clearly and tolerating, not my way, for the rep. Track metrics that matter. Discomfort score before and after asks, latency to ask from first impulse, and recovery time to baseline. You're building tolerance windows, not collecting gold stars. If a rep spikes you too high, titrate down. The point isn't bravery, it's repetition without overwhelm. Our 3 is rely. We're building an earned secure network with redundancy and consent. Start with a people audit. List those who are consistent, congruent, and respect boundaries. Map 3 roles you need covered: practical, rides, logistics; emotional, soothing, presence; reflective, perspective, truth-telling. One person can hold more than one role, but don't put all roles on one person. Redundancy lowers panic. Set explicit agreements. Availability windows, update norms, no rescue boundaries. If I text check-in, can you send a yes/no within 2 hours? I'm okay with advice if I ask for it. Otherwise, just listen. This isn't corporate, it's clarity. Then build trust ladders. Graded reliance from logistics to feelings to needs. Start with small, time-bound logistics. Can you remind me at 5? Step to light feelings. I'm nervous about tomorrow. Then to small needs. Could you call me after? Each rung gets a rep before you climb. Rituals make reliance routine. Weekly 10-minute check-ins. Micro-celebrations for small asks received. Shared planning for a month. Who's on call for what when. Rituals turn connection into structure, which your system already trusts. When a bid misses, don't scrap the ladder. Note it, adjust the agreement, and keep the next rep small. R4 is repair. This is how you stay when it gets messy. Rupture is inevitable. Repair is trainable. Rehearse scripts in calm states so they're reachable under stress. Led with impact before intent. When you didn't text back last night, I spun out and shut down. Add a request. Can we set a quick got your text norm? If you caused the rupture, use apology architecture. Name the behavior, name the impact, make a specific commitment, and ask consent to proceed. I went quiet during your share. That left you alone. Next time I'll say, I'm here, I need a second. Can we try again now? Use timeouts that don't punish. I'm overloaded, I need 10 minutes. I'll come back at 7:40. Then honor the reconnection window. Renegotiate agreements when capacity changes. No punishment for honesty. After a relational miss, Do self-repair that isn't isolation. Move your body. Journal the activation curve. Call a reflective roll for 20 minutes. Measure time to repair, depth of share after conflict, and avoidance reduction over a month. Expect relapse loops, achievement highs, crises, boundary confusion. Pre-plan handoffs for emergencies. When solo identity flares, return to the protocol, not the story. This isn't about becoming needy. It's about choosing when and how to lean, and giving your body enough clean reps that safety starts to feel like safety. 1. Regard. Seeing the cage without shame. We start here because you can't rewire what you keep moralizing. Regard means seeing the contract without shame and listening to your body like it's a historian, not a saboteur. You're not broken. You're patterned. Regard is how we turn the lights on without flinching. Begin with a quiet inventory. Write the rules you actually live by, not the values you post. Don't ask twice. Finish before you share. Handle it alone. Keep it tidy. Next to each rule, name the penalty your body predicts if you break it. Chaos, rejection, debt, judgment. Be specific. If I ask again, I'll feel small. If I show the draft, they'll see I'm messy. This isn't confession. It's cartography. Now map your body's tells. Twice a day for a minute, scan jaw, throat, chest, belly, hands. No fixing. Just labels. Tight, hot, numb, fluttery, heavy, empty, buzzing. Then add the context. Thinking about texting for help. Hearing a soft voice. Getting a calendar invite to talk feelings. Track what spikes you and what softens you. That's your somatic baseline. It's boring on purpose. Boring builds accuracy. Fold in your nervous system's enforcers. When you consider a small ask, watch for the amygdala's tag. Quicker pulse, held breath, shoulders climbing. Note the interoceptive edits. Not hungry until lightheaded. Not sad until snappy. Call the autonomic moves when you spot them. Revving to outrun exposure, dropping to ride it out. Naming gives you half a second of choice. Half a second is gold. Safety stacking brackets every rep. Before a bid, downshift. 6 slow exhales, longer out than in. Orient your eyes. Notice 5 stable objects, corners, lines. Do a quick cold to warm cycle. Cool water on wrists, then wrap in something soft. If you can, add a scent you associate with calm. After the bid, metabolize. Warm drink. Gaze at something steady. 3 slow breaths. Narrate plainly. I asked for a ride. My chest burned. They said yes. The heat dropped. Don't evaluate. Archive. Language drags shame like a net. So change the labels that drag you under. Burden becomes bid. Weak becomes wired. Awkward becomes unfamiliar. Needy becomes need present. Walls become armor. Armor that worked. This isn't semantics. It stops you from writing a character indictment on top of a reflex. Put the Oxytocin Paradox on the table early. Proximity will likely ring the alarm before the soothe lands. Soft eyes, slow voices. Steady presence might feel wrong before they feel safe. When that happens, say it. Out loud if you trust the room, quietly if you don't. This is alarm before soothe. The point isn't to force calm. It's to not obey the first siren. Build a small ledger of triggers and glimmers. Triggers are the cues that spike you. Delayed replies, sudden plans. Got a sec? Pings. Glimmers are micro cues that settle you. A friend's specific. I'll text you at 6. A certain chair. A morning light angle. A song that lengthens your breath. The plan isn't to remove triggers. It's to pair them with glimmers on purpose. When you map both, you stop treating your day like roulette. Set 1 daily metric set. Tight and simple. 3 body markers, 1 behavior. For example, chest tension -10, jaw clench -10, breath smoothness -10, and a tally of 1 avoided ask caught in the act. Don't try to improve the numbers yet. Trust that measurement alone nudges change. You're teaching your brain that this domain matters. Run a 7-day story swap with yourself. Each evening, pick 1 moment you almost reached and didn't. Write the nervous system version, not the plot. Thumbs hovered, neck hot, breath shallow, delete relief. Then add a single compassionate line. Protection working as designed. We're not fixing. We're befriending the guard dog before we teach new routes. Install 1 microscript to catch reflexive self-blame. When you hear, "Why am I like this?" answer with, "Because this kept me safe. Now I'm learning other ways." Say it flat. Not a mantra. A fact. The shame circuit loses voltage when facts get air. Choose a witness if you can. 1 person who can hold this phase without turning it into pep talks. Share exactly what regard looks like. I'm mapping my rules and body tells for a week. You don't need to fix anything. If I text scan spike, just send a thumbs up. Consent-based witnessing keeps you in the experiment without recruiting a rescuer. Expect 2 common snags. First, perfectionism hijacks the inventory. You'll want the perfect list, the perfect labels. Resist. Good enough maps are the only maps anyone uses. Second, insight high. You'll feel clearer and think clarity equals change. It doesn't. Regard is foundation, not renovation. Don't jump to asks yet. Let your system trust that looking isn't a prelude to exposure every time. End each day with a 60-second settling ritual to tell your body the audit is safe. Lights dimmed, 2 hands on your sternum, slow hum on the exhale, feel vibration under your palms. Whisper 1 true sentence about the day's protection, and 1 about your direction. I kept it together at work. I'm learning to be held without bracing. Then stop. Leave some space. Regard works best when you don't turn it into a project. You're not forcing doors open. You're finding the hinges. R2, Repattern. Training the nervous system to tolerate dependence. Regard gave you a map. Repattern is walking the streets, slowly, with guardrails. The aim isn't bravery. It's repetition without overwhelm. We're teaching your alarm that proximity can precede calm, that asking can finish in relief, not regret. It will feel wrong at first. Wrong is the point. You're changing predictions. Start with microbids, 10-second asks that barely register as asks. Keep them concrete and time-bound. Can you send me that link? Would you grab an extra napkin? Could you text me when you get home? You're not proving worth. You're collecting reps. The sequence matters. Ask, wait, receive, metabolize. Don't skip the wait. That's where the Oxytocin Paradox flares. The alarm before soothe. Label it to yourself. My chest is hot, breath tight. This is the spike. Stay 10 seconds longer than you want. Then close the loop. Say thank you. Breathe out slow. Let your shoulders drop. Stack safety around each rep. Before the ask, run a 30-second downshift. Longer exhales than inhales. Eyes locating 3 fixed points. Cool water on wrists. After the ask, add warmth. Tea, a soft blanket, slow music. You're pairing proximity with regulation. The body learns by pairing. Graduate the asks by millimeters, not miles. Think graded exposure. Day 1, ask for a small item. Day 3, ask for a tiny time-bound favor. Day 5, ask for an update. Week 2, ask someone to sit with you while you do a hard task. No fixing, just presence. Each step is a rung. You don't skip rungs. If you overreach and spike, titrate down. Failing isn't failure, it's data about dosage. Co-regulation reps are skill practice, not sentiment. 2 minutes of matched breathing, side by side, eyes soft or half closed. 30 seconds of gentle eye contact, then look away. Speak in slower cadence than usual. Notice if your body wants to sprint the tempo. Name it. Stay with the slower beat for 10 more seconds. You're letting oxytocin have time to catch up to the amygdala. At work and home, run the 5% handoff rule. Choose 1 task you habitually own and carve off just 5%. An outline, a first pass, a pickup window. Define done in clear, simple terms. Then let the other person meet done their way. Your job is to hold the discomfort without snatching it back. Expect imperfection. Expect the, I'll just do it impulse. When it hits, say out loud, that's my control reflex. Breathe. Let the rep finish. You're training trust, not chasing perfection. Install waiting windows. When you send a bid, can you review this by 5? Resist the compulsion to follow up immediately. Set a timer for 10 minutes. During that window, regulate on purpose. Unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, name 5 objects in the room. When the timer dings, reassess. Half the time, the urge to chase will have dropped enough to wait longer. That's a win. You're stretching tolerance. Use anchors in context. If soft voices spike you, pair soft voice with a grounding object in your hand. If touch trips your alarm, start with proximity. Sit back to back for 1 minute before trying shoulder to shoulder. If eye contact blazes, try triangular gazing. Eyes to their eyes for 2 seconds, down to their hands, out to a fixed point, back to eyes. Keep cycles short and deliberate. Relief will land late at first. That's expected. Build a microbid ladder for 1 relationship. 5 rungs. Rung 1, logistics. Text me when you arrive. Rung 2, light preference. Could we do a quieter cafe? Rung 3, small vulnerability. I'm a bit on edge today. Rung 4, gentle need. Could you sit with me for 10 minutes after the meeting? Rung 5, boundary plus bid. I can't talk solutions yet. Could you just listen? Move up only when the lower rung feels boring. Boring means the nervous system has learned. Track 3 metrics daily for 2 weeks. 1. Discomfort score right before the ask, -10. 2. Latency to ask, minutes between first impulse and action. 3. Recovery time, minutes from outcome to baseline con. Don't chase perfect numbers. Watch for trends. Discomfort holding steady while latency drops, or recovery time shrinking. That's adaptation. Expect the Oxytocin Paradox to protest when bids land well. After a good rep, some people feel a weird sadness or irritability. That's the nervous system discharging old predictions. Label it post-soothe wobble. It'll pass faster if you metabolize, walk, hum, warm drink, stare at something green. Resist spinning a story. C. Connection makes me messy. No. Change makes you wobbly. Install 2 refusal skills to protect against overwhelm without retreating. Time shift and scope shift. Time shift. I want to hear this. I need 10 minutes to finish this thought, then I'm with you. Scope shift. I can do 20 minutes right now. Can we pick up the rest tonight? These keep you in connection while honoring capacity. Plan 1 stretch rehearsal a week. Choose a scenario that reliably pings you, asking for clarity on a plan, receiving feedback live, inviting someone to co-work. Write the opening line, the escape line, and the metabolizing step. Practice out loud once, then run it. Debrief with yourself. Body, ask, wait, receive, metabolize. Archive 1 sentence of learning. Finally, celebrate in ways your nervous system actually registers. Micro-celebrations. A specific, we did that text to a trusted person. A sticker on a chart. A 3-breath smile you feel in your cheeks. Joy is a regulator. Pair it with the ask. You're not becoming dependent. You're building range. The goal isn't to need constantly. It's to stop bracing reflexively, so you can choose when and how to lean. R3. Rely. Building an earned secure network. Tolerating the ask is one thing. Relying is different. Rely says, I'm going to place weight here on purpose. Not everywhere. Not all at once. Here, with these people, in these ways. We're building an earned secure network, redundant, explicit, and paced, so your body can predict support without bracing. Start with the people audit. Make 3 columns: consistent, congruent, consent-based. Consistent means they do what they say more often than not. Congruent means their tone, face, and words match. Consent-based means they don't push past your no and don't make you pay for your yes. If someone hits 2, but not 3, park them as friendly, not foundational. This isn't judgment. It's engineering. Your system needs predictable beams. Map 3 roles every human system needs. Practical. The person who can grab a ride, send a reminder, carry a box. Emotional. The person who can sit with you without fixing and say, I'm here. Reflective. The person who can help you think cleanly, name patterns, tell you when you're spinning. Aim for redundancy. At least 2 names per role, if you can manage it. One person can hold multiple roles, but don't let any single person be your whole bridge. Redundancy lowers panic because it shrinks the only one-shot feeling. Now make it explicit. Set simple, respectful agreements that your nervous system can hold on to. Availability windows. If I text check-in, can you usually respond within the evening? Update norms. If plans wobble, can you let me know as soon as you know? No rescue boundaries. If I vent, I'll flag if I want advice or just company. These aren't corporate policies. They're co-authored clarity. Clarity shortens the amygdala's guessing game. Build trust ladders, graded reliance that moves from logistics to feelings to needs. Start with rung 1. Small logistics, time-bound, low emotion. Can you ping me at 4 to switch tasks? Rung 2. Light feelings without solutions. I'm keyed up about tomorrow. Can I say it out loud for 2 minutes? Rung 3. Small needs with edges. Can you sit with me 10 minutes after the meeting? No advice yet. You climb when the lower rung gets boring. Boring means your body stopped treating it like a cliff. Rituals convert reliance into rhythm. A weekly 10-minute check-in with your practical role. What's on deck? Any small handoffs. Keeps load sharing ordinary. A micro-celebration after a clean rep. Thanks for the reminder. That helped. Reinforces your body's prediction that asking can end in ease. A monthly reflective call. What am I not noticing about my avoidance this month? Keeps the contract visible without shame. Rituals are scaffolds your system already respects. We're just hanging connection on them. Consent runs both ways. Offer your roles a clear menu of what you're asking for and what you're not. I'm practicing 3 kinds of bids this month: reminders, presence, clarity questions. I'm not looking for solutions unless I ask. Get their consent in plain words. Consent creates safety because it lowers hidden expectations and surprise debt. Install failure plans before you need them. If a bid misses, you don't torch the bridge. You run the protocol. First, metabolize your spike, breathe, orient, warm drink. Then name impact without accusation. When the reminder didn't come, I shut down and did it solo. Ask a repair microstep, not a grand gesture. Can we test a calendar share for the next one? If capacity truly changed, renegotiate access without punishment. Wednesdays are tight for you. Can we move that role to J for this month? Adjust the system, not the story of your worth. Watch out for old enforcement sneaking in. Hyper-competence will try to retake ground after a wobble. You'll feel the urge to reclaim everything. Forget it, I'll handle it. That's the protection racket. Instead, scope shift reliance, don't scrap it. If the 10-minute presence felt too hot, try 2 minutes. Side-by-side breathing next time. Keep the rep, resize the load. Use environment to back you up. Put agreements in shared places, calendar notes, pinned chats, so your prefrontal cortex has evidence when the amygdala panics. Create small signals for availability. A lamp on means can chat for 5. Lamp off means focused. Predictability isn't cold. It's kindness to nervous systems. Audit the mirrors you stand in front of. Communities that glamorize stoicism or hustle will keep rewarding your cage. Seek rooms that normalize asks, celebrate repair, and treat boundaries as doors. Join spaces where check-ins are culture, not crisis. Your body learns from group norms. Let the group do some of the teaching. One more human moment. You text your practical role. Running late, could you move the 3 p.m. to 3:30? 10 seconds of heat. You breathe slow, name the spike, wait. They reply, moved. Got you. Feel the drop. Say thanks. That tiny exchange is not small to your nervous system. It's a new entry in memory. Asked, received, settled. Stack 100 of those, and your prediction map changes. Rely doesn't mean hand your life to others. It means distribute weight on purpose, with redundancy and consent, so your system can stop bracing by default. We're not aiming for perfect people. We're aiming for a network that can wobble and repair. Because reliance isn't the opposite of strength. It's how strength travels. R4, repair, staying in when it gets messy. Rely open the door. Repair keeps you inside the room when the air gets weird. Rupture isn't a sign you chose the wrong people. It's proof you're relating. What matters is what happens next. We train this like any other rep, small, clear, repeatable. Start with scripts you can reach under stress. Led with impact before intent. When you went quiet during my share, my chest spiked and I shut down. Say the event, say the effect, then pause. Don't legal brief your feelings. You're handing them a map, not a verdict. If you're the one who missed, don't explain yet. Apologies begin at the scene of impact, not at your reasons. Use apology architecture to keep it clean. 1. Behavior. I missed your text last night. 2. Impact. That likely left you spinning and alone. 3. Commitment. I'll set a got it auto-reply for evenings. 4. Consent. Is that helpful? Anything else you need right now? It's simple because complexity is where avoidance hides. Keep it short. Let them speak. Timeouts aren't exits, they're breathers. Call them early, with a return time. I'm overloaded. I need 12 minutes. I'll come back at 7:15. Then come back. If you missed the window, name it and repair that micro-rupture first. I said 7:15 and returned at 7:25. That likely ramped you up. I'm setting a timer next time. Reliability turns timeouts into trust instead of abandonment. Rehearse when you're calm. Say the hard lines out loud once a week, so your mouth knows the path. Impact before intent. I'm here. I need 10 seconds. Can we slow this down? You're building muscle memory. Under activation, recall collapses to what's overlearned. Overlearn repair. Make renegotiation routine. Agreements aren't traps, they're living things. Capacity shifts. Protect honesty by removing punishment. Mondays are too tight for me to be your 6 p.m. check-in. I can do Tuesdays or a morning voice note. Then confirm the swap in writing. Your amygdala respects receipts. Handle mismatches with scope, not scorched earth. If their listening wanders when you're vulnerable, shrink the ask. 2 minutes, just reflect back what you heard. If advice leaps out of them, add a flag. I need presence, not problem solving. If you overshared and feel raw, don't ghost. Say, I shared past my window. I'm going to ground, and I'll text tomorrow. You're repairing exposure without punishing connection. Install reconnection windows after spikes. A quick ritual helps bodies re-enter. Sit side by side for 60 seconds, match breathing, then exchange one sentence. What hurt, what helped? No debates. The goal is nervous system downshift, not consensus. End with a small plan. Next time we'll text pause before raising voices. Close with a micro gesture. Hand squeeze, nod a simple we're okay. Let your body register the landing. Expect the Oxytocin Paradox right here. Proximity after conflict might feel extra wrong. Label it, alarm before soothe. Stay in the pocket 10 seconds, longer than your reflex. Add anchors. Warm drink, steady gaze on a neutral object, slower voice. You're teaching your amygdala that returning isn't danger. Build a shared repair menu you can point to when flooded. 10 items, tiny steps. Name impact. Ask for a timeout. 2-minute mirror. Walk and talk. No eye contact, hold hands. Hum for 3 breaths. Record a voice note. Schedule a revisit. Appreciation ping. Restate the agreement. When words fail, point and pick one. Structure its kindness. Track metrics to make progress. Visible. Time to repair. Hours from rupture to first repair move. Depth of share after conflict. How close to your true edge did you speak? -10. Avoidance reduction. Number of times you stayed versus withdrew this week. Trend lines matter more than perfect days. If time to repair drops from 48 hours to 12, that's a win your nervous system needs to see. Plan for the common derailers. Achievement highs make you slippery. Success floods you with proof you don't need anyone. Preempt it. Schedule a microbid the day after a win. Crises trigger autopilot. Decide now which roles you alert and what you hand off when emergencies hit. Boundary backlash confuses openness with collapse. Keep scope shift scripts visible. I can do 20 minutes now, deeper later. Protect dignity on both sides. Repair isn't groveling, and it isn't scorekeeping. If you start tallying hurts to win, pause. That's control wearing fairness. Return to impact, request commitment. If they weaponize your repair language, step back to safety. Repair requires consent. Without it, rely should retreat a rung, not evaporate. Close loops explicitly. End a repair with a tiny celebration your body will feel. We stayed. We named it early. We came back on time. Pair it with breath and a smile you let reach your cheeks. Your system needs to savor safety, or the old map will keep winning. Here's a human scene. You say, when you rescheduled without telling me, I spiraled and went quiet. They reply, I blew it. I'll share my calendar with you and text right away next time. Does that help? Your shoulders drop. Yes, I need 30 minutes to reset. Later, you sit for a minute, breathe together, and clink tea mugs. Not a grand moment. A true one. That's repair. It's not dramatic. It's dependable. Relapse loops is what teaches your body that staying is safe. You can run the protocol cleanly for weeks and still watch the old pattern slide back in wearing good news. Achievement highs are the slipperiest. You land a launch, crush a presentation, fix a mess nobody else could untangle. Praise hits, dopamine spikes, the old identity lights up. I'm the one who carries. Your body files fresh evidence that solo is safer and faster. The next day, you skip a microbid because momentum feels too good to interrupt. I'll just finish this and then ask becomes, it's already done. Relief arrives fast, so the rep never happens. Preempt this loop by planting reliance in the afterglow. Schedule one tiny handoff the morning after a win. Calendar share a reminder. Ask for a 2-minute debrief. Request a ride to the airport you could easily book yourself. You're not dampening joy. You're bundling it with co-regulation, so your nervous system learns that celebration can include support. Make it ritual. Success, then share every time. If you forget and slide, don't shame yourself. Do the next rep, small and soon. Crises trigger the oldest autopilots. Fire drills, sick kids, last-minute scope creep. Your body sprints straight to overfunction. Your hands move before your mouth can ask. The plan here is written in calm, not during chaos. Pre-plan handoffs. Decide which roles you ping and what you offload in specific scenarios. If the server goes down, J takes external updates. I take internal triage. If my parent is hospitalized, M handles meals, L sends check-ins at 8 p.m. Put the plans in shared places. In crisis, your amygdala respects printed maps. Boundary backlash is sneakier. You open up, practice reliance, feel softer, and then wobble. Someone misreads your availability and pushes harder. Your system confuses openness with no boundaries and slams shut. The reflex says, see, connection costs control. Calibrate instead of collapsing. Scope shift. I can do 10 minutes today, deeper tomorrow. Restate the door. I want to share more, and I need us to confirm timing first. Doors, not walls. Practice the sentence. Yes, and within this window. Your body needs proof you can flex without folding. Selective memory will try to rewrite your progress after one miss. 9 clean reps, then a slow reply on the 10th, and the story reappears. People can't be counted on. Interrupt that narrative with receipts. Keep a visible log of asks answered, a simple tally or a short list. When the miss lands, look at the board. Name the ratio out loud. 9 of 10 landed. Then repair the 10th. Hey, I spun when I didn't hear back. Can we set an on it ping? You're not gaslighting yourself. You're teaching your prediction system to weigh actual base rates, not ancient fears. Achievement and crisis often braid together. You ship something big and immediately get pulled into another fire. Fatigue sets in, which makes overcontrol feel righteous. Watch for the signature. Tight jaw, clipped cadence, kindness rationed. That's your tell. Insert a puncture ritual. 60 seconds of matched breathing with a teammate. A 2-minute walk while you voice note a reflective role. A warm drink before you answer the next ping. Micro-pauses don't slow the mission. They keep you from defaulting to solo. Anti-patterns can masquerade as culture. Trauma-bonded teams that valorize heroics will keep handing you identity candy. You're the only one I trust. Take that as a flag, not a crown. Translate praise into process. If I'm the only one, we need to spread this knowledge. Then delegate 5% right there. In dating, avoidance cycles feel like home. You'll be drawn to partners who never ask, or to partners who ask so much you can justify distance. Spot the magnet and change one variable. Name pace at the start. I like slow, steady reps of closeness. Can we test weekly check-ins? If they bristle at clarity, that's data early, not a rescue mission later. Another relapse route is competence, drift inside the protocol. You turn microbids into performance. Perfectly scripted, always successful, tracked like a leaderboard. The moment a rep goes awkward, you scrap the ladder and retreat. Return to dosage. The work isn't to shine, it's to stay. Awkward is not failure. It's exposure doing its job. Praise yourself for completion, not polish. I asked and waited. Put a literal sticker on it if you need to. Your nervous system responds to simple, embodied reinforcement. Watch for language creep. Old labels sneak back in when you're tired. Burden, weak, needy. Replace them out loud. If you catch, I don't want to be a burden, shift to, I'm making a bid. If you hear, I should handle this, try, I can share this load. Small edits loosen big reflexes. Keep a card in your wallet with 3 swaps. Pull it when your brain's foggy and your mouth reaches for the old script. Finally, expect seasonal regressions. Holidays, anniversaries, travel, times with historic. Charge, amplify the Oxytocin Paradox. Proximity will ring wrong louder. Plan lighter reps and heavier anchors. Shorter visits, more exits that aren't escapes. I'm taking a walk, back in 15. Cue supportive roles in advance. Log wins that are simply, I stayed 10 seconds longer. That counts. Relapse isn't betrayal, it's gravity. You're not starting over each time. You're re-entering a groove you're actively reshaping. The loop loosens when you meet it early, label it cleanly, and run one small, boring rep anyway. Identity shift. From I don't need to I choose when and how. Here's the pivot. You're not dismantling competence, you're redefining it. New narrative, interdependence as strategic strength. You're a systems builder now, distributing loads so missions scale and bodies don't burn. Leadership becomes designing trust, not absorbing chaos. Update the metrics. Success includes availability, honesty, and repair. Did you name capacity early? Did you ask cleanly? Did you come back on time? Track those like revenue. Give the shift a symbol, a bracelet you touch before a bid, a phrase on your lock screen. Choose when and how. Pair it with a small ritual. 3 slow breaths, then send. Teach the protocol to someone. Mentorship cements identity. When you coach microbids, run co-regulation reps, and model repair, your nervous system rehearses while your mouth explains. You're not the one who doesn't need. You're the one who can choose the right lever, at the right time, with the right people. Field manual. 30-day lone wolf exit challenge. You've mapped, you've practiced, you've built. Now we run a tight, 4-week field test. 30 days, small reps, measurable shifts. This isn't a personality cleanse. It's a daily drill that rewires prediction through repetition. Week 1 is regard. Every morning, run a 1-minute body log. Jaw, breath, chest, belly, hands. Label without fixing. Tight, warm, numb, fluttery. Jot 1 context cue. Thinking about asking for a ride. Calendar invite to talk feelings. Each evening, write your contract. The rules you actually follow. Don't ask twice, finish before you share, carry it alone. Next to each, add the predicted penalty, rejection, chaos, debt, loss of respect. 3 times a day, stack safety. 6 slow exhales, orient to 5 fixed points, a quick cold to warm shift. Cool water on wrists, then wrap in a sweater or blanket. Expect the Oxytocin Paradox to flare when you picture closeness. Label it, alarm before soothe. Don't obey it. Metrics for the week. Chest tension -10, jaw clench -10, breath smoothness -10, plus a tally of 1 avoided ask you caught mid-flight. You're teaching your system that looking is safe. Week 2 is repattern. 2 microbids a day, 10 seconds each. Keep them tiny and clear. Can you forward me that file? Would you grab an extra fork? Could you text when you're home? Sequence every rep. Ask, wait, receive, metabolize. Don't skip the wait, that's the exposure. Before each ask, run a 30-second downshift. Longer exhales, 3 fixed points, cool wrists. After pair warmth. T, slow music, shoulders dropping. Add the 5% delegation drill at work or home. Hand off a small slice. First pass outline, an early research link, a pickup window. Define done, simply and tolerate not my way for the rep. If the Oxytocin Paradox hits hard after a clean ask, call it post-soothe wobble. Walk, hum, warm drink. Metrics. Discomfort score right before the ask. Latency to ask from first impulse. And recovery time back to baseline. Watch for latency shrinking and recovery quickening. That's your system learning. Week 3 is rely. Do a people audit and fill 3 roles. Practical, emotional, reflective. With redundancy where you can. Don't hunt for unicorns. Pick consistent, congruent, consent-based humans. Make 1 explicit agreement with each role. Availability windows. Evenings are best for quick check-ins. Update norms. If plans wobble, text as soon as you know. No rescue boundaries. Advice only when I ask. Build trust ladders, 1 rung per day. Monday, logistics. Ping me at 3 to stretch. Tuesday, light feelings. I'm edgy about tomorrow. Can I say it out loud for 2 minutes? Wednesday, small need. Could you sit with me 5 minutes after the call? Keep rungs boring before you climb. Add 1 ritual. A 10-minute weekly check-in or a micro-celebration. Thanks for the reminder, that helped. Metrics. Number of asks answered, time to reply for agreed pings, and your internal drop, shoulders or breath, when support lands. Week 4 is repair. Run 1 rupture script, even if it's tiny. Led with impact before intent. When you didn't reply last night, I spiraled and went quiet. Add a request. Could we set a got it ping? If you caused the miss, use apology architecture, behavior, impact, commitment, consent. I went silent mid-share. That left you alone. Next time I'll say, I'm here, I need 10 seconds. Is that helpful? Install timeouts with reconnection windows. 12 minutes, back at 7:40. Then return on time. Create a shared repair menu you can point to when flooded. 2-minute mirror, walk and talk. Handhold no eye contact. Schedule a revisit, appreciation ping. Run 1 menu item this week. Metrics. Time to repair, depth of share after conflict -10, and avoidance reduction. Count of times you stayed versus withdrew. Checkpoints across the month. Discomfort trend holding steady while latency to ask drops. Recovery time shrinking by minutes. Repair windows shortening from days to hours. 1 joy moment per week where you felt the exhale of a shared win. Pin those wins, literally if you must. Your prediction system needs receipts more than pep talks. If a day blows up, shrink the rep, don't scrap the plan. 1 breath, 1 ask, 1 repair move. Consistency beats intensity. At the end of day 30, you won't feel like a different person. You'll feel like you, with range. That's the point. Competence stays. Bracing loosens. Choice returns. Staying lone feels safe, but it quietly starves the parts of you built for warmth. If this hit home, subscribe for our next deep dive on relational nervous systems. Then watch the companion video on breaking the competence identity. Share this with a friend who always says, "I'm fine."